UFC 315 just ended, and in the main event, we got Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena, and we have a new welterweight champion. Jack Della Maddalena wins via unanimous decision, 248-47s and 149-46 in probably the best title fight of 2025. I'm trying to think back. What was a better title fight? I don't think there was a better title fight than Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena. It was an absolutely incredible fight. Crazy war in the 5th round. And Jack Della Maddalena pulls it out via unanimous decision. Let's go through it round by round. Because there's a lot of people like, man, Joey Cope, bro. Belal lost. Belal got dominated, bro. You're so biased, bro. You're so biased for Belal, bro. This was a very, very close competitive fight and an outright war. Round 1, very close round. Belal landed a couple really good body kicks. There was a really hard right hand. There was a moment towards the end of the round where Belal shot in on a takedown, didn't get it, came up and landed like an elbow and a good right hand. JDM landed a partial head kick, was landing some good jabs, some good body jabs as well. And I thought round 1 was very close and competitive. I thought Belal landed the more damaging shots in round 1. It seemed like JDM was trying to get a feel for what Belal's game plan was, which we're going to talk about Belal's game plan in this video. I thought round 1 was close, but rather clear for Belal. Round 2, Belal shot for 2 takedowns. One was like stuffed by the high guard of JDM. He was kind of dropping his body down and like stuffing takedowns while still having a high guard, which was incredible. JDM outstruck him in round 2, was landing good shots, landing good body shots, landing some good leg kicks as well. Towards the end, JDM started to get a little crazy and throw like a spinning hook kick. And I thought round 2, similar to round 1, but for JDM, landed the better shots. Belal didn't get any takedowns. I think there was like one clinch where, you know, off a takedown attempt that Belal got, landed a couple shots in the clinch, but really not much. And I just thought JDM landed the better shots with his hands. So I thought JDM took round 2. Round 3 was probably the closest round of the fight, to be quite honest. Belal struck for the majority of the round. JDM was really mixing in the teeps, landed some good shots. Belal was pressuring well, had a late takedown, took his back for a little bit, but not for a prolonged period of time. Didn't really do much damage. And Belal was landing some good shots. And really the second half of the 3rd round, Belal was really pushing the pace. It seemed like, I thought, okay, he's going to really get into the grappling, especially when he shot some late takedowns and got one and had the back for a little bit. It seemed like Belal was really starting to pick up the pace in the 3rd round. I don't know if that was game plan. That's what it seemed like. We'll talk about his game plan later in the video. I thought round 3 was razor close, but I just barely leaned Belal. Thought he landed a little bit better shots and also had the back, had the hook in for a little bit of time, and had a little bit of control time in the clinch as well. But it was razor close. I thought round 3 could have went either way. Round 4 was the clearest round of the fight for Belal. Round 4, Belal made a great adjustment. First off, it seemed like, I don't know what the corner advice in between the rounds were, but they said, look, Belal, this is a close fight. You need to go out there and break this guy. You need to go out and pressure him. And Belal went out there, was walking him down, landing good shots, winning in the clinch a bit, landing good uppercuts. Like, JDM was shelling up a bit, but he was using the guard to also stuff the takedowns, which we've seen him do in the past. And Belal started spamming uppercuts in the 4th round. And it just seemed like Belal was really heavily pressuring in the 4th round. JDM still looked good, still landed some good shots himself. But I thought round 4 was very, very close, or very, very clear for Belal Muhammad. So at this point, now I have round 1, round 3, and round 4 for Belal Muhammad. But round 1 and round 3 are very, very close. Going into the 5th round, I thought Belal was up 3-1. But I even said on my stream, I said, look, it could be 2-2. And it ultimately did come down to the 5th round. We'll go over the judges' scorecards here in a second. Round 5 was insane. So round 5 started like round 4. Belal came out, was pressuring him, landing good combinations. JDM would land a couple good shots back, but Belal kept walking him down. Then about, I think, 3 minutes left on the clock in the 5th round, Belal was able to get a takedown in the half guard. Started landing some elbows, started landing some good shots. There was a shot on the feet before this, I believe, that Belal landed that kind of started swelling up the eye of JDM as his right eye almost looked completely swollen. And JDM just locks down from bottom. And at this point, I'm thinking, well, Belal's got this on wrap because I already potentially have him up 3-1, but some of those rounds were close. If he is able to maintain this position for the rest of round 5, he's going to get round 5. It's going to be clear. And then even if it's 2-2, Belal's most likely going to win. JDM muscles his way up, cracks Belal with an elbow, starts walking down Belal, ripping to the body, ripping upstairs. Belal's all bloodied and battered. But then JDM, I guess because the output started to get tired, he clinched up. Then he tries to take Belal down as they're kind of moving across the center of the cage. And Belal kind of throws him, ragdolls him, kind of like a belly-to-belly suplex on top of him, takes him down. And I'm thinking, well, I don't know. JDM did a lot of damage there. Let's see what Belal can do here. Is he going to keep this position? You never know with the judges favoring grappling and whatnot. Belal keeps it for a little bit. JDM forces his way back up, lands a couple more good combinations as well. Belal was hurt badly prior to that takedown, but JDM's just his gas tank was starting to get a little bit tired, and that's why he had to clinch and eventually got taken down for the second time in the 5th round. But Belal really doesn't do anything crazy for that last minute or so after JDM gets up off the bottom after he was thrown to the ground, and I scored round 5 for JDM. So essentially live, and I went back and rewatched round 5 just because it was so crazy. I couldn't remember exactly what all went down. But live, I had round 1 for Belal, very close. Round 2 for JDM, close but pretty clear JDM. Round 3, razor close, coin flip, barely had Belal. Round 4, clear Belal. Round 5, clear JDM. But honestly, you know, there's not many people saying robbery, and I know there's people like, man, Joey, you're coping, bro. I'm coping by saying it was a close competitive fight that JDM won and it wasn't a robbery. It very well could have been easily 2-2 going in that 5th round. It did come down to the 5th round. It did. We'll go over the judges' scorecards in a second. But I'll say this. Amazing performance from Jack Della Maddalena. Belal, questionable game plan, but I still think it was an amazing performance. I'm starting to wonder, is the UFC really telling these dudes not to shoot takedowns? Because, you know, I thought maybe Belal was saving his energy a little bit because maybe, you know, he knew JDM has amazing scrambles and maybe he was going to start wrestling heavy later, and it seemed like he was starting to implement that a little bit in the 3rd round. But, man, Belal it's easy. I mean, hindsight is 20/20. There is no doubt about it. Belal should have been grappling earlier in this fight and wearing down JDM because JDM's boxing is so crisp. His body shots are nasty. And I think his boxing is actually a bit overrated, which I think in this fight kind of proved it a bit. But I think his grappling is underrated, which I also talked about going into this fight. But really what won this fight was really JDM's cardio. His cardio looked incredible. A lot of guys can't go cardio for cardio with Belal Muhammad. Belal, make no mistake about it, the way I thought this fight was going to go down, Belal, in a way, did exactly what I thought. He really started to turn up that pressure in that 4th and 5th. Go back and watch it. I rewatched the 5th round. You could really see it early 5th round, and I remember it from the 4th round. Belal really was trying to put it on him in them championship rounds, and JDM would not go away. He doesn't have that, you know, that switch in his brain like Leon Edwards where he quits when he starts to face adversity and he quits. And early, Belal didn't mix in the grappling enough. So JDM was able to, you know, bank, especially that 2nd round, arguably the 3rd round. Then the 4th and 5th, Belal ends up getting hurt badly in that 5th round because he's tired. His hands are low. At one point, he had his hands by his waist. But overall, it was an incredible fight. JDM's boxing looked super crisp. His takedown defense looked incredible. I honestly think, you know, 2 of my biggest takeaways from this fight is Belal's striking is super underrated, which I've been saying for a while. And JDM's grappling is super underrated, which I've also been saying for a while. But it really showed in this fight. Because the fact that this fight was primarily striking and Belal made it as close as he did without really grappling that much and not even really putting the threat of the grappling too much for JDM, especially in those first 2 rounds, to have it come down to that 5th round is absolutely insane. That shows how good Belal's hands have improved. But JDM, cardio is unbelievable. Scrambles are unbelievable. Takedown defense is unbelievable. Head movement is unbelievable. There was one moment, I'm trying to remember what it was that I'm forgetting right now. I think it was the 5th round. There was a knee that split open Belal Muhammad. That was the big moment right before that elbow that really also helped change the trajectory of that 5th round. I knew I forgot something. And then also, now that I'm thinking of knees, I think in the 4th round, there was a razor-close, barely legal knee from Belal Muhammad that had it landed more crisp or impactful or JDM hadn't blocked it, I got to go back and rewatch that one. Man, that could have put him away, as crazy as that sounds. But JDM gets it done. By no means is it a robbery. I don't think anyone's crying robbery. There's some people, the haters are showing up, man. They're like, Joey Cope, bro. Islam versus JDM is a banger fight. banger fight. And Islam deserves the opportunity to move up for a welterweight title. Unlike Ilya, who defended the belt once. And to act like how is JDM? JDM is not unlikable. JDM is a super likable fighter, gritty, doesn't talk a lot of shit, has nasty hands, is very exciting. This fight was incredible. I never want to hear anyone calling Belal Muhammad boring again. Dude went out there and struck for 20 minutes maybe. Probably more, honestly. Probably 22 minutes of a 25-minute title fight against JDM. And took a lot of damage in the end there. Had his lip all split open. Had his eyes split open. I think he was bleeding from his nose as well. But to be honest, if I had to sum this up, this was just a championship-level performance from JDM. To pull out that fifth round, when it came down to the fifth round, I actually have the judges' scorecards here. So Mike Bell had rounds 1 and 4 for Belal Muhammad. So round 5, again, would have gotten Belal the decision. Eric Colin had 1, 2, 3, and 5 for JDM, which I think is kind of crazy, but it's not horrible. I don't think it's a horrible scorecard, considering one was really close, but I thought Belal edged it out. He landed a couple good shots, like right as he was exiting the clinch, and a couple good body kicks as well as one really good right hand. So I wouldn't score round 1, but also round 3 was razor close. Could have went either way. So Eric Colin, clearly, no matter what happens in the 5th round, has it for Jack Della. And then you have David Theron has 1 and 4 for Belal Muhammad as well, which is basically what I thought 1 and 4 were the. I mean, 4 was the clearest round for Belal, but 1 as well. So it really came down to that 5th, and JDM pulled it out of the fire. You got to pull this out of the fire, son. Don't let him bully you, son. What it came down to was JDM is never going to quit. He's not going to face a little bit of adversity. Lost that 4th round. That was his worst round of the entire fight. Started to lose for the first 3 minutes. You go back and watch 3 minutes of that 5th round. That's the only round I rewatched before I did this video. Belal won that first 3 minutes, but it doesn't matter because there's 5 minutes. I just got a random itch in my back as I'm talking about it. Great performance from Jack Della. Head movement looked unbelievable. Takedown defense looked unbelievable. I think Belal tried to prove a point a little bit too much in this fight. And I think he tried to be more exciting and fell in love with his hands a little bit too much. I don't want to sit here, because I know some people are going to take it this way, but it's not really even that. I don't want you guys to take this as my full analysis. I don't think the game plan truly sabotaged Belal, because JDM is very hard to hold down. He's got great scrambles. He's super strong and explosive. And I don't know, especially early, how long Belal would have been able to control him. He couldn't control him when he was gassed. Now, granted, Belal was tired too. Belal was gassed too. Not really gassed isn't the right term to use for either one of them because they were fighting. Aldo was the term to use for gas. We'll talk about that in my full card breakdown. But I really think what this fight came down to was the championship heart of JDM, as well as the power differential. Belal landed a lot of good shots. If Belal has JDM's power, I think this is a totally different fight. Obviously, we're talking hypotheticals, but I'm trying to explain to you why I think JDM won, okay? It was really the power shots, the power differential. Belal would crack him. It's not getting a huge reaction out of JDM. He's snapping his head back. He's landing some jabs. JDM's landing some jabs, and they're doing much more damage. He's cracking. I think he cracked him in that 5th round with a good right hand that kind of stumbled about. Actually, I think it was a left hand. Both guys were switching stances. JDM was the only one really throwing leg kicks. I thought he should have invested in those more. I really do. I mean, the leg kicks were heavy, and he was landing them whenever he was throwing them on Belal. He didn't throw a lot of them. But this was a very, very close fight that I think JDM arguably pulled out. I mean, he did pull it out in the 5th round. But it really, in my mind, without rewatching yet, it really comes down to that 3rd round. Because 1 and 4 is for Belal. 2 and 5 is for JDM. In my mind, I think those are very clear, even though I think 1 is very close. Even 4 was close. But I think it was very definitive for Belal. So it really comes down to that 3rd round because 5, JDM hurt him badly. But no matter what, it was probably the best title fight of 2025. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And it came down to that 5th round. 2 judges, Mike Bell and David Theron, had it 2-2 going into that 5th round, which is what I thought it could be. I barely had Belal up. But man, this was a great fight. I don't want to hear people call Belal boring ever again. I really don't, man. I really don't. I'm so tired of hearing that narrative. Dude's never in a boring fight. What? Oh, Gilbert Burns. He came off the couch with an ankle injury and beat Gilbert Burns, who just had a full training camp and an easy fight, was in shape, and Belal wasn't. The Sean Brady fight where he stopped Sean Brady. Let's stop acting like Belal's boring just because you don't like him. And honestly, I'm getting more and more convinced of the bias against Belal based on their like domination Absolute dominate. This was a 3-2 performance from JDM. It was a damn good 3-2 performance. It could have went either way. I don't think it would have been a rob. I know a lot of people would have cried robbery and they would have said, oh, Joey, you're biased. You're biased, Joey, if you scored a 3-2 for Belal. I could rewatch it and maybe be completely like, oh, no, I'm wrong. Maybe it was 3-2, clear 3-2 JDM. I think that third round is very close. I've seen some people complaining online round 1 for Belal. How could they? Round 1, I thought was pretty clear. It was super close, but I thought it was pretty clear for Belal. I thought he landed the way better shots in round 1. But there's no sense in going over every single round. JDM is the new welterweight champion, and man, did he look damn good. He's going to be tough to beat. Belal's probably never getting another title shot. He could, maybe on like a short notice shot, or, you know, but he's getting up there. He's close to 40. How's he going to win a couple fights and get back to it? I don't think the UFC's, I mean, he had to get like a 13-fight unbeaten streak to get a title shot to begin with. Man, if he, you know, I think this is going to be one of those fights he looks back on and like, damn, if I didn't get hurt in that 5th, I have this fight. Because that's truly, I mean, that's undeniable facts. He does not get hurt in the 5th round. He wins the fight, but it happened. It is what it is. I know, again, people are going to be like, Joey Cope. I have nothing against JDM. I like JDM. I think he's going to be an awesome champion. Islam versus JDM is a straight up banger, which if you guys watch my channel at all, you know, I didn't even want Topuria. I love the Islam Topuria fight. But the way Topuria has been acting, I don't really want that. I don't really want it. Because Topuria is acting like a spoiled little bitch when he has one title defense against an overrated Max Holloway. The PMF, by the way. So, JDM gets it done. Nasty striking. Unbelievable durability. The eye was almost swollen shut. I thought when Belal had gotten that first takedown and I seen that swollen eye, I'm like, oh, even if JDM gets up, he's probably going to get outboxed because that eye is swollen shut. But he got up and started throwing heat, man. That combination that hurt Belal was like an elbow and then I think a left hand. Then he started ripping to the body. He was really outboxing Belal in that last 2 minutes. And that's truly, actually, factually what won him the fight. But incredible performance by both guys. One of the best fights of the year. Definitely, I would say definitely the best title fight of the year. I'm trying to think of a better title fight. Maybe Merab Umar. I think this was better than Merab Umar. Great performance by both guys. You can't take away from either one of them. Dana White doesn't even bother to show up for the post-fight presser. I think, honestly, he's working on Islam versus JDM, which is a mega fight. JDM says he's down for it. JDM doesn't really have a say in the matter to begin with. I guess we'll get Oliveira versus Topuria for a interim title potentially at 317. Maybe undisputed. We'll have to see. I'll make an entire video on that tomorrow. But I'll end it on this. For the people going, Joey, you're coping. None of these guys pay me. You guys have to understand. I want the best fights. You know, if Belal lost, let's say Colby gets an undeserved title shot and Colby just somehow wins 3-2. Okay, I'll be salty then. If Belal went up to middleweight and gets out-jabbed by Sean Strickland to a boring-ass decision, I will be salty then. Belal JDM for an outright war? Somehow that's supposed to make me salty. It was a great fight. I loved it. Loved every second of it. Go watch my stream. Don't watch my stream. But either way, JDM, you know, I know no matter what, it's a title fight. This is the biggest win of JDM's career. Man, what a 5th round performance. You have to give it up for him, man. What a 5th round performance coming off a long layoff and to set himself up for a money fight. Islam is one of the biggest names in the sport. Islam, the term star within the UFC as it relates to the UFC has become a bit perverted. Islam is one of the few kind of stars in the UFC right now. JDM just set himself up for a massive fight. And stylistically, it's incredible. I can't wait to talk about it in a video. So, you know, in a way, I'm kind of sad because I rooted for Belal because he got so much unjustified hate, which he's still kind of getting. People are like, man, he got dog walk, bro. You're a casual if you think Belal was competitive, bro. Cope over, bro. I'm super pumped to get Islam Makhachev, JDM. That's an unbelievable stylistic matchup. I'm wondering what Islam looks like coming up to 170 because JDM has amazing takedown defense. He showed it in this fight. Now, Belal didn't grapple all that much, but JDM, he had this super high guard, and he would come down and block the takedown attempts while still having a high guard. I think at one point, Belal kicked him in the head. I don't even think I mentioned that. I think he kicked, or tried to kick him in the head. I think it was blocked, but great performance from JDM. Could have went either way, 3-2 in my opinion. I'll have to go back and rewatch it. I'm going to do a full card post-fight after this, and I think that's it. I don't know what else to say about this fight. Great main event. Don't ever want to hear anybody say Belal Muhammad's boring again. Don't want to hear it. JDM, super exciting champ. Can't wait to see the Islam fight. It's a mega fight. That is a mega fight, boys, and I'm looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching.